Hello, good evening. We are Team 6 and below I will give a brief introduction to the topic. Migration is one of the most complex and influential phenomena in today's world. It involves not only the movement of people but also political decisions and international commitments and the protection of human rights. Diplomatic relation between nation states. Migration is a fundamental human right recognized in Article 13 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights from 1948, which guarantees the right to live in any country and return to one's own. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights from 1966 also supports this right, yet many migrants face restrictions and discrimination. Saying migration through a human rights lens means protecting people, not excluding them. Defending this right supports dignity, justice, and international cooperation. Thank you.
So now I'm going to explain a little bit how migration strengthens diplomatic ties between nations. First of all, migration fosters diplomacy not only through official channels, but also through human connections that underpin international relations. So when individuals move across borders, either for work, for education, or even as refugees, they carry with them their culture, their language, and their values. So this exchange enriches host societies and deepens mutual understanding between nations. Let's take, for example, the international student migration. Thousands of students from everywhere from the world, from developing countries mostly, study in Western institutions each year. So when they return to their homes, they become cultural ambassadors, often fostering bilateral partnerships, business collaborations, and even academic exchanges that endure long after graduation. Similarly to this case, diaspora communities play a vital role in shaping foreign policy. Remittances, advocacy, and dual loyalties can drive peaceful negotiations and trade agreements. Countries let's take for example, India and the United States. They both have seen strengthened ties largely due to the Indian American community's economic and political influence. Moreover, let's say migration necessitates international cooperation. Joint visa programs, bilateral labor agreements, and refugee resettlement plans compel countries to work together, promoting dialogue over isolation. Migration, at its best, honestly humanizes diplomacy. It transforms abstract policy into lived experience. It reminds us that beneath every treaty or alliance, there is a story of connection, of families reunited, of talents shared, or even of cultures blended. So let's not view migration merely as a movement of people, but as a movement of possibilities. And in an increasingly divided world we're living in, migration is actually not a threat. It must be seen as a bridge. So that would be it for me. Now my next teammate is going to talk a little bit about the role of international agreements in protecting migrant rights.
My name is Marifer Tamez Barrientos, and today I'm going to be talking about the role of international agreements in protecting migration rights. Migration is not a crime, it is a human right, but still millions of migrants face unfair treatment and violence and abuse. This is why international agreements are so important. Treaties like the Global Compact for Migration and 1951 Refugee Convention helps work together to protect migrants and treat them with respect. These agreements are not just pieces of paper, they are lifelines. They show that helping people who cross borders is not a favor but a responsibility. Following these agreements build trust between countries and helps people crave.
My name is Jennifer Costilla Villarreal, and I'm going to talk about humanitarian crisis. We are referring to humanitarian crisis that unfolds when a broader emergency impacting entire communities or significant group of people in a specific region. This crisis is marked by extremely high mortality rates, severe malnutrition, outbreaks of infection disease or epidemics, and the breakdown of public health systems. It often involves a critical lack of access to basic needs such as clean water, adequate food, medical care, and proper sanitation. There are several causes of a humanitarian crisis such as political reasons, health reasons, and malnutrition. A clear example of a humanitarian crisis, the situation is Haiti, where powerful 7 magnitude earthquake struck in January 2010 years, leveling the nation is ruin and result the death of approximately 300,000 people. Although international assistance arrived quickly, Haiti has remained in a state of ongoing crisis for over a decade. In the years following the earthquake, this country has endured repeated natural disasters, including several cyclones, and faced a severe cholera outbreak. Further strengthening is already fragile infrastructure and depending the humanitarian emergency.
My name is Karen. I am going to talk about the effects of anti-immigration policies and how these have a bad effect on the global cooperation because they cause problems between countries and make it harder for them to work together on migration. We can say that when a country closes its borders and send migrants back, or doesn't accept refugees, it loses trust with other countries, especially the ones where the migrants came from. These actions also make it difficult to follow international agreements like the Global Compact of Migration. And some countries start working alone in, instead of helping each other. When economy it's affected too because many countries need migrant worker in important jobs like farming or construction. Also, the country's image can come worse and it may lose respect from world organizations like the United Nations. In conclusion, we can say the anti-migration policies don't only harms migrants, also damage cooperation between countries and make it harder to solve um, global problems together. And that's all.
Hi everyone, my name is Héctor Javier de Leon. Today I want to talk about something that often gets overlooked, the positive impact of migrants on their host countries and why that actually matters in international diplomacy. Migrants don't just move for survival or better opportunities, they bring new ideas, skills, and cultures that help societies grow. From doctors, engineers, artists, and entrepreneurs, migrants contribute to economic growth, innovation, and cultural diversity. For example, many successful companies in the USA and Europe were founded by immigrants or their children. But it's not just about what they bring, it's about what their presence represents. When a country treats its immigrants with respect and protects their human rights, it sends a strong diplomatic message. It shows that the country values justice, equality, and cooperation, and that builds of power the kind of influence that helps nations form a strong alliance and lead in global discussions. So, supporting migrants is not just the right thing to do, it's a smart diplomatic move. Because in today's world, how we treat people inside your border affects how we're seen beyond them. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Marlene Rivera Ochoa, and I would like talk about diplomacy and the moral obligation of the human rights of migrants. And diplomacy is not just about agreements and between countries. It's also carry a duty. It's protect the human rights of migrants. And also, regardless of status, every person deserves dignity, and diplomacy must promote asylum, cooperation, and human policies. And for last, defending migrants' rights is not a choice.
Hi everyone, today I want to talk about something that might not seem obvious at first, but actually plays a big role in how countries interact with each other, and that's the influence of the migration narrative on international relations. So first of all, actually, what do you mean by migration narrative? Basically, these are the stories of measures and ideas that are told about people who move from one country to another country, and either by choice or because they have not other options. These narratives are appearing in the news, on social media, in political speeches, and even in every conversation. Some narratives show migrants in a positive light. They might say migrants are hardworking, that they are bringing new cultures and skills, and or that they help to a country to grow. But there are also negative narratives, one that says migrants are treated by they cause problem or that they don't belong. These messages don't use it intermediate that they shape how people think, and when public opinion starts to shift over, government often respond that pressure. This is where international relations come in. You see, migration isn't just national issue. When people move across the borders, it automatically become international. So, if one country sees migration as a problem, it might start creating policies that affect other countries. For example, it could tighten border control, change visa rules, or make deals with governments to work together with other nations to find solutions. The key thing to understand is that narrative help shape this action. When a government puts policies around fear or blame, it might lead to tension with other countries. But when the narrative is based on cooperation and shared responsibility, it can lead a stronger alliance to more peaceful relations. So migration narratives are used to force, they shall use power and perception. They can make countries come together and can push them apart so they can lead the new partnership, so they can create the conflict. So some vital measures analysis says how the migrants and affect how governments act and to fashion affect relationships between countries that why something as a simple story told only on TV or what politics can have a global impact. And that's all for your part.